What's up, my guys? Welcome to episode 19 of the My Guys Magic podcast. Here with my boy Pete. Say, what's up, Pete?
What's up, Pete? What's up, my guys? 19? That's crazy.
Yeah, fresh back from RC Milwaukee. Pete's first
Yes.
day two, Slade. Made a
Yeah.
little money.
Cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. Recued. Made
Congrat.
cash. Let's go.
Congratulations, bro. Seriously. You earned it.
Yeah, it felt great.
Best performing Rakdos Monument deck at the tournament, baby.
LFG.
So today we're going to talk about upcoming events. We're going to recap the RC and kind of our experience, what we did. We'll talk a little bit about our predictions and kind of just how everybody did overall. I felt like kind of the crew performed pretty well, Pete included. We'll talk a little bit about how we think the results from Milwaukee and the Canadian RC are going to shape the meta going forward. And we'll do a little bit of a discussion on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So,
The, the
Pete,
Turks.
the turds, shoot us a little breakdown of upcoming events.
All right, so upcoming events March 6th, we have Spotlight TMNT in Richmond, which is standard. Then I think we don't have anything till May 1st. It's the Pro Tour in Vegas, so I think it's MagicCon Vegas. And then May 15th is RC Cincinnati, which is also standard. And then, so I think Memorial Day weekend, RC DC, which is also standard, which I believe we'll be attending.
Okay. Yeah, I
Oh,
think
and pre-release for the Turks is this weekend everywhere.
that is a rapid product delivery schedule. I shouldn't say rapid. It is a um, yeah. It's a lot of stuff. When was the last pre-release? Like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. So I think we had pre-release. Our players got to draft Lorwyn 3 times. Now we're gonna do Turtles or something.
That's
That's how it feels anyway.
that's crazy. So for recapping the RC, so so Pete, you predicted that Rakdos Monument would win, and I guess you were like half joking, and so you said Excruciator was gonna take it down.
Right.
Um, Excruciator did fine at the event overall. You know, it held its ground, and then I said that Lessons would win or an aggro deck. Right. I think that those final challenges where there was like 5 lessons in top 8 just kind of showed me that the deck hadn't given up. And
Right. And we had talked about it making a rebound. I think on our last
absolutely we
episode or
did.
two. So
Yeah. And I mean, we predicted that the most popular decks would be um, Landfall and then Lessons, Excruciator, Demir Mid, and then Spelementals and Simic Rhythm, um, in that order.
right.
And we were correct to a pretty good degree. Is It Lessons was actually a little bit more popular day one, and then Mono Green Landfall. Demir Excruciator and Demir Mid were the third and fifth most popular decks. Simic Rhythm was the fourth most popular deck, and Spelementals was the seventh most popular deck. So the only deck that we missed in like the top 7 or 8 most popular decks was Azorius Tempo. So I would say we did pretty good in
Yeah. And at the hotel the Friday before, right? You said that you thought Excruciator and mid range would combine for 14.5%. That was pretty close.
yeah. So what is it? It's
Fifteen
um,
point
one.
four, 15.4.
because it's 8.5 and 6.6,
Oh, I
right?
missed. I was looking at the 8.8. Yeah,
Oh yeah. So yeah.
so
So
15.1.
yeah, it was so kind of crazy that. Which I don't know. I mean, we had the metadata from these other online sources, and it really wasn't that much different from that. So I don't feel like a you know a meta profit in any way for sure. Um, I think we got lucky. I think we've been doing pretty good. I think with how things have ebbed and flowed. I mean, for like the last few months, I think that we called the resurgence in Demir Mid following one of the PTs after, is it less after, I think it was after Worlds, right?
Yep.
Um, so yeah, doing pretty good in that regard, I think. Um, so Pete, ten
Yes.
five with Rakdos Monument, or
10.5 with Rakdos Monument.
yeah, man, like
Had so finished day one 6-3. My three losses were all to lessons to very good players. Uh, two of which went on to top eight the event. Um, Lost to Luna Easton, Max Komanowski, and Will Kruger. And the first two matches, I flooded game one, and I think against Max, game two, I had to mold the four for a keepable hand. And same thing, similar in the match against Luna. But so I was 5-2, one round eight, so 6-2. Go to round nine, paired into Will Kruger. And then we had a great match, 3 game set, and got him to three. Game three, and he was able to stabilize and took it. And he went on to win the whole thing, so congratulations to him. He was a great opponent. It was fun. So then day two for the first time, which was crazy. I was like, I'm just happy to be here, right? And like the vibes with this deck were immaculate, as they say. I was just having
yeah,
fun. You know, I didn't switch. Uh, Joe and Kevin and the boys almost kicked me out of the hotel room Friday because I just kept trying to switch decks like I do,
yeah,
right? So I kept the deck. I played the deck that I had tested with for weeks, and the results showed that, right? And
yeah,
started day two with a loss against Mono Red. Was lost in three there, so I was like, oh, so this is how today's gonna go. And then I rattled off 4 wins in a row. So I was 10-4 going into round 15.
yeah, man,
Then lost a close 3 game set in that one to Alex Wells, who's a teamer harmonizer. Super nice guy. That was a fun match also. So all in all, it was an awesome weekend.
yeah, dude, good work.
Oh, round one
Uh,
was great too.
okay, yeah. Um, I played Elementals. It went well. I think, I made day two. I got my sixth win in round eight. So going into round nine, 6-2. And then, played Is It Prowess, played a very linear, aggressive deck that just smushed me. And, um, you know, so came back day two and played Azorius Tempo, which felt abysmal. Like they got a high noon on the battlefield both games and then just beat me to death with two power creatures that interacted with whatever I was trying to do. Aven Interrupter and Aang with High Noon is and Avatar's Wrath. Like they cast multiple Aang's, Avatar's Wrath, and High Noon both games. So just like it looked like a fun deck to play. I'm kind of sad we didn't have any any reps against it, Um, and then I played mono red the following round and lost. So basically, just lost 6 games straight in the last 3 rounds. So I was 6-5 and realized that like I was gonna play for $100 essentially to keep playing, and had a pretty low chance of getting there. Like I was gonna have to just win 4 straight rounds, and decided to just drop there and go try to do a little bit of work in the hotel, um, and just make $100 that way doing work in the hotel.
Yep.
Um, so deck was fun. I think it has some serious weaknesses. Like if you're not, if you don't have a 2 mana accelerator and you're not like ramping out your elementals, it's kind of a mopey deck. Like, but once you get there, and the thing is, it's like it's not that mopey against certain decks because you just like interact with them up to turn 5, where you can hard cast a 5 mana elemental, and then on the following turn you slam a Sunderflock, and the game pretty much ends. I don't think I lost a game where I cast a Sunderflock against an aggressive deck. So,
Yeah,
um,
Sonderflock's good.
and I felt that Elementals was good against Lessons and Mono Green Landfall. I'm sure there's a number of Lessons players out there who disagree with that, but I felt like the main deck Wistfulness, being able to interact with what it is that they're doing, um, made it pretty good. And then if they happen to have firebenders, what's the 1 mana spell that does 2 damage? Is it Firebender's Ascension? No. What is it called?
Fire bending lesson.
Firebending Lesson. Yeah. Sorry. So that if they had that and I cast an Ashling on 2, maybe they had to spend a Boomerang Basics to bounce it to my hand, and if they didn't have a Combustion Technique or a Boomerang Basics to get rid of my Ashling, I just was super far ahead, and that was kind of the name of the game with the deck. That's why that's one of its weaknesses. I feel like if they interact with your 2 mana creature, um, you don't have the same like redundancy that like Simic Rhythm has. So
Right,
I
in
don't
our
know. I mean,
testing.
go ahead.
Right, in our testing against with Rakdos against elementals, every time I had to answer for your 2 drop, you were just behind, right?
Yeah, for sure. Um, I mean, I think overall the deck did well. One made it into top 8, had a pretty good conversion. I think it's still a good deck because it has just such powerful spells, and it kind of has a start that if you don't interact with it, you're just going to be buried. And I think that it has a faster start than Is It Lessons. Like Is It Lessons requires a little bit more setup, but it has catch-up mechanisms that blow your opponent out. And when we were playtesting with Is It Lessons in the hotel, I was like, this deck is cracked. We should probably just be playing it.
Right.
Um, it was like, this is so silly, man. Like, and that was the first time I had really played it. I'd seen people play it. Obviously, I'd seen the results, but once I finally was doing it, I'm like, this is silly. So it just seemed very consistent. So I'm not surprised at all that it won. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I
no,
think.
me neither. I was so I did a lot of testing on Arena, and I had a positive record against lessons. So I was misconceived myself on how the matchup would go, right? And
Yeah,
should have had a better plan against it.
right. But the homies all did well. Well, let's talk about that real quick. Like
Okay.
Benji Solomon, Zane, Toledo, Bradley, Ivan, Damien, you, um, like a ton of people day two, right? I mean, I guess I kind of day two'd, but
No, you
showed up
did
and
day too.
immediately showed up and immediately went home, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Benji got
Mike,
close.
yeah, he did get close. Mike Belfato, he day two'd.
Yep.
Um, R.I.P. brother Kevin and Scott couldn't quite cross the finish line, but still had pretty strong showings. I think that Kevin just had like a little bit of bad variance, which happens.
Yep.
Um,
I can attest to that.
yeah. So
Yeah, all in all, I think if we had to play the same event again this weekend, I would play the same day.
I think that I would change a couple sideboard cards. I think I would be playing Ghost Vacuum over Lantern. That looked crazy in the game that Bradley had it against his Demir Crusader opponent. It just seemed like a much more consistent card with some like late game value. Um, and then I think I would have also played like one less Winter Night Stories and another one mana piece of interaction. And I think the bounce offs just didn't feel that good to me. I think that it was like too cute, right? I think that we should have been like
Some
on
burst
more
lightnings.
sear and some burst lightnings.
Yeah.
Maybe like one bounce off. Um, I
Yeah, I'd
just
probably make
like
some changes to the sideboard to shore up the lessons match, but felt good in everything else. I was 2-0 against Landfall on the weekend, so did the RCQ the weekend before, so over 2 weekends, 4-2 against Landfall. I beat Demir, beat Excruciator, I beat Is It Prowess, I beat Spell Elementals, beat Airbending, beat Control twice.
yeah,
So just lessons was my Achilles heel.
yeah, and I can see combustion technique seems pretty good against your deck. I think Storm Chaser's talent was like undoubtedly again with our testing playing Is It Lessons against other decks. Storm Chaser's talent was so good, especially with Boomerang Basics. Like it was absurd how good that series of cards was together. Just produced so much damage and value. Um, I don't know why anybody ever thought to take those out, but um, let's talk a little bit about kind of the day one, day two, top 32 breakdown. So, Is It Lessons was the most popular deck, about 11%. Mono Green Landfall, Demir Excruciator, and Simic Rhythm were all like 7 to 9%. Uh, Demir Mid, Azorius Tempo, Spell Elementals, and then Multicolor Elementals were 4 to 6.5% ish. And then everything under 4% but still listed was Jeskai Control, Boros Dragons, Is It Prowess, Airbending, Harmonizer, Mono Red, and Rakdos Monument. And then 23% of the field was listed as other. Um, and so day two, Lessons in Landfall had pretty solid conversions. Mono Green Landfall became the most popular deck at 15%. So it almost doubled its meta share. So it did really well converting into day two. And you can see similar numbers in the Canadian RC as well. Um, Is It Prowess had the best day one to day two conversion. Um, but then Lessons, Spelementals, and Airbending had like the best conversion from day two into top 32. But still, like a quarter of the top 32 were Lessons decks. So, and 25% of the top eight, right? The event was taken down by that. So, um, yeah. Pete, can you see my screen still?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to slide over and look at this win rate matrix that Kevin sent us. Did you take a look at that at all?
Yeah, that's for both
The
RCs
Canadian.
combined, right?
Yeah. Yep. So it looks like the meta breakdown didn't really change that much. Looks like maybe there was a little bit more elementals and a little less Spelementals in Canada. So those kind of swapped, and then maybe a little bit more Jeskai Control in Canada that pushed it up like a couple percent. So yeah, there's a lot of people playing Jeskai Control in Canada, it looks like. Everything else is fairly similar. But yeah, I guess it looks like there's, because it's a smaller tournament in Canada, that the other pool shrank quite a bit. Jeskai Control did the worst, 36.7% win rate. Just not where you want it to be,
No. I got
Yeah, I think, well,
I paired into it twice, and I was like happy to see it.
right. There was like this increase in hyperlinear decks, Prowess, Monument, Rakdos Monument specifically, and then Mono Red kind of entering the RC. And then Is It Lessons, I feel like, wrecks that deck. It seems like such a poor matchup, in my opinion. So
Yeah, and I
then
don't see them having they're a dog to Excruciator too, and Demir mid. So
Rakdos Monument isn't even on here, bro. It's in
no,
the other
no,
pile.
yeah, there was 18 of us in Milwaukee, and I think 4 in Canada.
Oh wow. So that really shrank there. Yeah, so 55% win rate for Mono Green Landfall, 54% win rate for Is It Lessons. The deck with the highest win rate was Is It Prowess, and of course I had the joy of getting wrecked by that deck. Elementals had a 49.5% win rate. It's the Jund deck of the format, right? Just trying to interact and do mid-rangey things. Simic Rhythm was 49.9%. Kind of um, the standard for the meta, even though it shrank a lot, it just kind of seemed to be what everybody was focused on and playing the most of. So
Yeah, I think Rakdos Monument had a 44% win rate in Milwaukee. So
yeah, so going forward, how do you think things change? Is there any kind of shakeup? Any decks gonna?
I don't. No, I think it's pretty diverse, right?
Yeah,
People still be playing Lessons. See what some of these new cards do. Um, Maybe not as much Excruciator because the same thing happened when Javier won Worlds with it, right? With the old version. It's good in that meta because nobody knew about it. Nobody saw it coming, but now that it's a known quantity, it's not as good. It's how I see it. It's still a fun, great deck, but 46% win percentage, not good enough.
yeah, yeah. Um, I think that will probably just shift to Demir mid again. Um,
Which won Canada, so
yeah, right. It's kind of wild. I just think that the two most popular decks kind of beat up on Demir Excruciator, so I expect that to kind of fall off some. Like Demir Excruciator kind of only does well against the like lower half decks doing mid range thing, and then even then it's not just doesn't look like it has a very good spread.
no. Look at Demir Mid as a 67% win rate against Excruciator. That's
Yeah,
wild.
let me see that. Yeah, I mean, to be expected. Interact, kill your stuff, outvalue you with Kaido. Yeah. How did Demir mid fare against Is It Elementals? It says it has a 66% win rate. Huh.
That's
Yeah, I
bad.
just I just think is it the like the if Is It Elementals is going to evolve to kind of stay relevant in the format, I think it involves a deck that's playing more low costed interaction in the main deck. Um, I don't know if that's spell pierces or counter spells or burst lightnings. I don't think it's bounce off though. Um, but maybe Flood Maw or something. We'll see. We'll see. Um, obviously I think there's probably going to be a lot more shakeup in the metagame than we could even predict, and that's because TMNT comes out on Friday. So, do you want to talk a little bit about uh, what your favorite cards are from that? I'm going to just pull up the spoiler on the screen here so we can talk through that.
All right, well, the card I'm most hyped for
Yeah.
is Cool But Rude.
Cool but rude.
Yep.
Let's see right here.
Enchantment class, 1 in a red. Level 1, whenever you attack, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Level 2, you pay 1 in a red to level up. Level 2 is whenever you discard a card, this class deals 2 damage to each opponent. Level 3 is 1 in the red, and it's a gamble effect. So yeah, as soon as I saw this card, I was like, I'm throwing this right into Rakdos Monument and
Yeah,
see what happens, right?
I think it's very good.
'Cause I
It's
have a
like a mini
surplus.
monument, right?
Yeah, I have a surplus of creatures. I'll get the level 1 static is great. As the
Yeah.
game goes on, I'll level it up, and yeah,
So the
with
one card
a
that
monument in play, it's great. And then yeah, what do you got?
a Technodrome, 2 mana, artifact creature construct, so 2 generic mana. It's a 3/3. This creature can't attack or block unless its power is 6 or greater. Then it has an ability: tap, sacrifice another artifact, draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So it kind of has text that is similar to um, what was that vehicle that we had in Kamigawa that did this? Gosh, I can't think of it. But it had like a very similar um, ability where you would pay 2 to draw a card. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
It was a Reckoner Bankbuster. That's what it is. So Reckoner Bankbuster is a 2 colorless mana for a 4/4 vehicle and enters the battlefield with 3 charge counters on it. And you can remove a charge counter from it and pay 2 and tap it, and you draw a card. And then if there's no charge counters left, you get a treasure and a 1/1 pilot. Um,
Right, and
and
it
then it
accrues
crews for 3.
for to be a 4/4,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. So this thing, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a way to get this going, and you can probably play it with. So I was thinking about this card with like, I'm like, why is this a mythic? This seems so strange to me that it would be a mythic. And then I'm thinking of like weapons manufacturing, Legion Extruder, um, kind of stuff like that. There's got to be something there. Like you can play this with basically like Jeskai artifacts, with Pinnacle Emissary, right? So it's kind of like a standard version of Affinity. Obviously not as cracked, but and you're trying to just like outvalue people with Legion Extruder and weapons manufacturing. And I'm sure you just play like some other cards or creatures that generate some like supplemental artifacts, and you're off to the races. But what other card kind of stands out to you?
I like Super Shredder, but I think that's an obvious one, right?
Yeah,
One
just gonna
one in
get
the
big fast.
one in the black for a 1/1 with menace. Whenever another permanent leaves the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on it, and that's like whenever a
Yeah.
permanent leaves the battlefield anywhere, not just your stuff, it makes it great. And then we got this. Finally got another black exile effect. Death in the family.
Yeah, where's that at? Let's
One in the
see.
black. Instant exile target creature with mana value 3 or less.
Okay,
So
it's pretty good. It's kind of like shout back to smother, but better.
yeah,
Um, Mondo Gecko looked pretty good to me. 1 and 2 blue for a 2/3 legendary creature, lizard mutant. You pay 1 and discard a card until end of turn. It becomes the color of your choice and gains hexproof from that color. And then it says whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card for each color among permanents you control. So you can, like, if you have any other colors of colored permanents on the battlefield and you hit your opponent with this thing, you're probably going to draw 2 cards. So, um, or you might be able to make it something else. I at first thought it said it gained protection from that color, but hexproof is not as good because you obviously can't attack through stuff. But it just seems like an overall, like, um, maybe like a good like a potential control finisher that you can protect at a fairly low cost and then still gain value. I don't know, something to think about. But the other card that really jumped out at me when we talked about it was Casey Jones, Vigilante. 1 and 2
yeah.
red for a 4/3. When Casey Jones enters, draw 3 cards, and at the beginning of your next upkeep, discard 3 cards at random. So there was a number of these kinds of effects that it seemed like they're really trying to push, like red aggro. Like that is kind of insane. To me,
Yeah.
like a
No,
3 mana.
I agree. When I saw that card on their preview episode, I fell in love with it. And I'm just a hollow one coper, so I'll probably play it in modern.
Yeah, and this isn't bad in Monument, right? Like you can get some value there.
No, I
Um,
might play that in Rakdos Monument and place a Tursa.
yeah, so
It's
it's something to think about
yeah.
for sure. But
Trigger if I have 3 cards in hand, trigger all 3
yeah,
levels of the monument in my upkeep, plus
yeah,
cool but
and that's
rude 3
and that's like
times.
that's the floor, right? So it's cool but rude whenever you discard a card. So yeah, so you're gonna
So
get 3
triggers 3
triggers.
times. Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the other one that jumped out at me. Any others you wanted to chat through here?
Uh no. Well, it's cool we got Wheel of Fortune
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it looked kind of
and
nuts.
Demonic Tutor.
Yeah, the shredder or the or no, it's the Master Splinter. It's like Diabolic Tutor, but if you sneak it, it's Demonic Tutor, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So
And
if
then
you ninjutsu is sneak in this set, basically.
well, it's like a fixed ninjutsu, right?
Yeah.
So the creature can't be blocked, but it has to be in the declare blocker step, and then you cast it so it can be countered. It's not
Okay.
sneaks an alternate cast cost, so it's not the same as ninjutsu, where you'd have to stifle the trigger. You can actually counter the spell and interact with it on the stack.
Okay. And then there's this also kind of jumped out at me too. This Krang, 9 mana for 9/9 flying trample, indestructible and haste. And it gives other artifact creatures you control flying, trample, indestructible, and haste. That just seems like, I don't know, it's kind of outlandish in its mana cost, but if you could cheat that in some way, there's got to be
Yes.
something
So
there.
someone's gonna do something with that, right?
It's got to be. It's just like so silly, you know? But, yeah. I don't know. It looks like a fun set. I like, were there any Final Fantasy cards that had a significant impact on Standard?
From where?
Final Fantasy. Wasn't
Nah,
that the
no.
last Universes Beyond set?
Yeah, no cards I can think of.
It was like a wonderful limited format, but I don't think it really had a lot of.
I'm just kidding, Vivi.
Oh gosh, I'm so stupid.
I was like, "What are you talking about,
Yeah,
Joe?"
my
It
bad.
broke. It broke standards.
Jeez, yeah. But that was it, right? Well, I mean, what else was there?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything else, right?
Huh.
Yeah, I don't
Just
know. I'm
some
drawing a blank.
role players,
Yeah. Well,
Sephiroth, Fire Magic,
yeah, Fire Magic,
Thunder Magic's being played now.
a little bit here and there. Yeah. Um, what set was Cecil from?
Oh yeah. That's Final
Okay.
Fantasy also.
Yeah,
So
all right.
yeah,
So there's a little bit going on. I think that this is going to have a much bigger impact,
but
personally.
Avatar was the last Universes Beyond.
Oh, duh. Yeah. Okay. Gosh, so many Universes Beyond sets.
Yup.
But yeah, I think that this Avatar had a pretty good impact too. I think that this will have a pretty solid impact on Standard. I think that there's a lot of stuff in here that is pretty high power level that we're probably just not seeing how it's going to fully
Yeah,
play out.
didn't have
But
really time to look at it all
also,
with testing for Milwaukee, right? It was all just too much.
yeah, yeah. So Pete, tell everybody about your story about round.
Round one?
Was that round one?
That was
Yeah,
round one.
tell us about round one.
Oh, so round one, I'm playing against my opponent on Demir Mid. Very nice guy. We finish our match, and the table next to us finishes their match. And the guy caddy cornered me, says, "Hey, do you have a podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" Dude, recognize my voice, saw that I was playing Rakdos Monument, and then heard my name, knew it was me, and so shout out to Thatcher from up there in South Dakota. Appreciate the listen. Yeah, that was surreal. I didn't think that was like something. So thank you, Thatcher. You made my weekend.
100%.
That's how the tournament started, and then we know how it ended. So I think I can partially attribute that to the boost in my ego from Thatcher. So thank you. It was
Yeah.
awesome. It was awesome. And then my opponent pulled out his phone, looked us up, so we got another listener. Um, it's just really cool to know that people are actually listening.
Yeah. Even in all the way in South Dakota, man,
And
that's
sorry,
pretty sick.
forgot your buddy who turned you on to us his name, so I apologize. But shout out to you also. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Seemed like nice guys. I know. I'm pretty sure Thatcher was doing pretty good in the tournament. I know he day two'd.
Yes, I think he
So
finished 9-6.
okay,
So
solid, solid.
yeah, and he was
Um,
playing the deck that you're afraid of.
which one's that? Tempo?
These Azorius Tempo, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I talked to Free Stuff Matt, Mr. Ancio, on Sunday when I went back to the hotel because I just posted in the chat, hey, I'm out of here, guys. I'm gonna go work in the hotel. It was great seeing you all. I'll be around the convention center for 10 more minutes if you want to come say bye. So he saw that in the chat and gave me a call. He was taking his son to a game, and I think he was trying to like boost my spirits and look out for me. I honestly, I really wasn't too down on it. You know what I mean? I kind of knew what I was getting into, and I knew that the aggressive decks were going to be a problem if I played them. And I played them 3 in a row, and that kind of was it. So, um, it is what it is. But he was like, like, haven't you like day two'd almost every RC you've been to? And I was like, no, I haven't day two'd 2 of them. So I was just like kind of going back through. I'd gone to 9 RCs, um, and I didn't day 2 the first RC that we had in Atlanta, playing blue white control. I went 5-4, and then I didn't day 2 the Denver RC playing elementals, like 4-color elementals with Omnath. I went 5-3-1 and lost my last round for my winning in against Living End. But otherwise, I day 2'd. I got 2 Qs, and then we saw um, the combo player that knows you from Discord. Gosh, what's his name? Is it Mike?
Yeah, Michael Jackish.
Yeah. So he was like, if you put in Reed Duke's win rate into a hypergeometric calculator, it's going to take you 7-ish RCs. I think he said like 7 or 8 RCs before you get a Q.
Yep.
So, something to think about, right? Like,
yeah, you're better than Reed Duke, because that's what I'm getting out of that.
Yeah, no, and that's what I said to him. I was like, oh, so I don't know. So I think in future episodes we're gonna want to talk about that, like what the process looks like, and I think it's just gonna take some time to think about what that is. I think a lot of it is just kind of preparation, and then having enough reps that you make solid plays, and having enough information about the rest of the metagame that you can make informed decisions about your plays. Um, and that was one of my downfalls, right? This weekend, like the 3, I beat Lessons, beat Landfall, had a close game against Amir Excruciator. Like all the games that I lost, I had no reps against those decks. I had no reps against Boros Dragons. I had no reps against Is It Prowess, no reps against Mono Red. Well, I guess I did have like 1 rep against Mono Red. And then I had no reps against Azorius Tempo. And Azorius Tempo was like learning on the fly. I had no idea. It was like, this is horrible. Like,
Right.
I just, as soon as they played Hiding, I'm like, oh, this is so bad.
Yeah, I think we missed that one because it was pretty popular, right?
It was. We did not have it holding that much of the meta for sure. I mean, it was. Well, here, what percentage was it of day 1? 6%, just as much as Dimir Mid.
Yeah.
So, I think that deck is so good. Like, so Azorius Tempo plays a lot like Airbending in terms of like interacting at instant speed to a certain degree and like playing creatures. Airbending has an infinite combo, and it has maybe individually more powerful spells, but I think Azorius Tempo has a more cohesive game plan overall, and you're getting a little bit more value out of your lands. Whereas 3-color Airbending, every land you play has to produce mana, right? You can't really afford to make any sacrifices there. Whereas with Azorius, you can play Abandoned Air Temple, you can play an Agnikella, you can play Restless Anchorage, right? So you're getting a little bit more out of that. Um, but yeah, and so I think that, in a format as diverse as this one, it is a challenge to try to get reps against every style of deck, and it's hard going into, we got there Thursday and we talked about, going into the lab, and Kevin and I and some of the other guys that were there before you, Pete, before you and Mike got there, we jammed some games, and then we proxied up lessons, we proxied up landfall, and did some testing with that, and we had Demir Excruciator, but we didn't do any testing against Rhythm, and I think that we were all comfortable with that matchup because we had played so much of it. Felt the same about Demir Mid, but like Spelementals, Tempo, Jeskai Control, Boros Dragon, Prowess, Airbending, we didn't have any of those decks proxied, or we didn't do any active testing against them or evaluation of them. So
Right, and then same thing with Harmonizer. When I went up against Harmonizer in the last round, I was like, oh,
yeah,
missed
yeah.
one.
So I think managing your time as effectively as you can to get, you know, as familiar with as many corners of the metagame as you can is a good approach. And I think that the RCs where I qualified, I played a deck that was well positioned for the weekend, so I got lucky in that regard. But I also was very familiar with the entire metagame of Pioneer. I pretty much knew what every deck was doing. I had
Yep.
played games against every deck. So I think I just had a lot of familiarity with everything that was going on. And I could pick up someone's deck list and be like, oh, I know what your game plan is. Whereas I did not really have that at all with a lot of these decks. Like, is it Prowess, Boros, Dragons, and Azorius Tempo specifically? I didn't. I completely underestimated the aggressiveness of Boros Dragons, and I knew how is it Prowess was going to go, but I guess it would have been nice just to to have some awareness of that and maybe be a little bit more familiar. And then yeah, Azorius Tempo. I think if I knew I was going to play some of those decks, I was hoping I would just fade them and just play like the top thirty
Right, which is
percent. But
sometimes you have to do, right?
yeah,
You
so I
you only have
mean,
so many sideboard slots. We can't.
yeah, I mean, I played 3 to 4% decks 3 times, in 11 rounds. So I think I should have only played one of those decks 1 time. So I think I got a little unlucky, right, playing those hyper aggressive decks, but that's part of it. I think that my matchups didn't break my way in terms of playing those aggressive decks, and got smoked for it. So
Yeah.
it's all good. I think we'll have a more comprehensive discussion on this in the next episodes. I think that's kind of how we're going to break out the next episodes, is kind of a combination of what we discussed today and a further elaboration on a more concise discussion of the preparation that goes into the RC and what you should be looking at, and then also what we discussed at the end of last week's episode. We're going to kind of break out some sort of series on preparation,
Yeah,
and
we're
a
gonna
lot of it
talk.
just comes down to time management, right, Pete?
Yeah, time management. We're gonna talk about how Pete finally day 2'd.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so what do you think, Pete? How does it feel?
It feels amazing.
Yeah,
Like that, I climb. my first few RCs I think I went 2-4 at the first one, and then 3-4, and then around there. And then the last two, I lost a couple winning ends, and finally, I think this is my seventh RC. Finally broke through that wall. It just felt great, you know. I was comfortable with the deck, had plenty of reps with it, knew the lines. Was really just having fun.
Yeah.
Just just burden people. We're
Yeah.
just walking around Milwaukee going caw caw. Just having fun.
Yeah. I think.
Like Vinny said when we had him on, you know, it was just the vibes. The vibes were right.
Yeah.
But you know, I got lucky in a few spots, but really just the preparation, you know, comfortability with your deck choice, knowing, you know, and then I approached my mulligan decisions more intently, like we've talked about in previous episodes. That was where I fell short the most, right? So I approached this tournament making my mulligan decisions based on the matchup. I love open deck list, and I think that paid dividends.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think that's, and I think you kind of did it on hard mode too, right? I think a lot of people would say that, Rakdos Monument wasn't a solid choice, right? I just want to look at the win rate matrix and see where Monument falls in this.
Not good. There was 18 of us, only two made day two.
Yeah, 47% win rate. So, yeah, I mean, like the fact that you were the most, the highest ranked Rakdos deck in the tournament, I think says a lot. That you kind of stuck to it, you played it. We convinced you to, just stay on it, and you got there, right? Even though you had all those losses to Is It Lessons, you just like smashed your other opponents, and you know, um,
Yep.
were
Finally
able to
got.
sneak underneath landfall, and yeah.
Yeah,
So
I have a solid plan against landfall. I don't mind seeing that deck across from me. Um, but I finally got redemption against lessons day two, so that felt nice.
yeah. Um, yeah. So we've kind of got a plan for our next few episodes. I think we're good here, man. I think
All
we'll
right.
we'll wrap it. Um, yeah. Continue to follow us on the Twitter and Blue Sky, YouTube, Spotify. I think we're gonna get into Apple Podcasts here soon. Seems like a lot more people use that platform to listen to their podcasts, and they don't want to download Spotify. So I'm gonna
Look into that.
probably
Do it.
just bite the bullet and get that taken care of. Add it to the list of stuff to do. But
That's it. Do it.
yes,
Do it, lady.
yeah. If you listen to us thus far, thank you very much. From Florida to South Dakota,
And
California
everywhere
to
in
New
between.
York. Let's go.
Appreciate all of you.
Yeah.
Oh, and special shout out, thanks Miles for helping convince me to play this deck.
Amen to that. All right, everybody. See you next week, my guys.
All right, my guys. See y'all next week.